Hi there, Peter here from ClearScope Solutions. Hey, are you a field service management business? You're a cleaning company. You might be a solar company doing electrical installations, plumbing, home maintenance, delivery, field service technician sort of company, and you use Zoho CRM. Well, LogixOne Operator might be a really good fit for your business. LogixOne Operator fits inside of Zoho CRM. It's not an external application that connects into Zoho CRM. It actually lives inside of it. So it makes it a really efficient system, and it leverages a lot of the existing Zoho CRM capabilities. So in this video, I'm going to run through very quickly some of the features that exist inside LogixOne Operator and give you a bit of a demo of it. Don't forget, you can install LogixOne Operator for free from the Zoho Marketplace within your Zoho CRM environment and give it a test. If you get stuck or you need any help whatsoever, you need a personal demo, we're more than happy to provide that to you and your company. So with that, let's jump into it. Okay, so the first place that you want to start once you've installed LogixOne Operator into your Zoho CRM environment is by navigating to the newly installed LogixOne Operator module, which is right here. Now, let me talk about just basically how the platform works and how it integrates so tightly into Zoho CRM. LogixOne Operator is basically a window into Zoho CRM. So it provides all that job scheduling and calendaring that you would expect in a field service management solution, but it leverages a lot of the tools and features that exist inside Zoho CRM. It leverages the native sales order module, the native invoice module, and there's a couple of other custom modules that get installed when you install LogixOne Operator. The other thing I really want to highlight to anybody watching this video is that LogixOne Operator has operators, so your field service technicians. But the thing is, you don't need a Zoho CRM license for your field service technicians or your LogixOne operators, as we call them. You do not need a Zoho CRM license for them. In fact, you could have one Zoho CRM license and have as many LogixOne Operator licenses as you like and be able to run an effective and efficient field service management business. So that's really important to understand, is that your LogixOne operators do not need a Zoho CRM license. So what that means is that effectively it can be a very cost-effective solution. LogixOne Operator is basically made up of two major components. You have the back end, parts that are integrated directly into Zoho CRM that your admin team might use on a daily basis. And then you have the LogixOne Operator app that can be downloaded from either the Google Play or Apple App Store that lives on your field service technicians' phones. And this is where they get their jobs from. So we use LogixOne Operator admin tool to create and schedule and allocate jobs to field service operators, or LogixOne operators as we call them, that get their jobs from the field service management, the LogixOne Operator field service management tool. Okay, so let's talk about the back end of LogixOne Operator. As you can see, and as mentioned, LogixOne Operator is very tightly integrated into Zoho CRM. You do not need to open a separate tab or log into another application. You log into your Zoho CRM environment, you click the LogixOne Operator module that gets installed when you install LogixOne Operator, and in here you can do basically everything that you can think of with respect to creating and allocating and scheduling jobs for your field service technicians and your customers. All right, so let's walk through that. So across the top, we have our top panel where we can see our different calendar views. So we can look at a horizontal timeline view here. We can select a normal calendar view that you might sort of look at inside Zoho Mail or Google Mail. We have our mapping solution that enables us to track our field service technicians live and get updates live from them. see whether they're on, that they've logged in, see what jobs they're at, and then watch them actually move and get The next is our mapping solution, which takes data from the field service LogixOne Operator app and feeds that back into LogixOne Operator. And here we can see where our operators are live. We can see whether they've logged on. We can see what job they're at. We can actually see them moving and tracking. And then we can record their tracking history information. We can see where our jobs are. We can see where our accounts are and contacts, and as well as our operator history, all from within inside the map itself. The next across the top is our operator log, which is where we log all of the information from our operators. So for example, it might be when an operator has logged on, when they've checked in for a job, when they've finished a job, when they've created an invoice for a job, and all that type of information gets stored here. And the next is our new feature, which is our merge editor, which we'll run through really quickly at the end of the video. Moving across the top, we have our create job button, which is at the top here. So if you want to create a job, you simply need to click that button and click create job, and you'll get the create new job form. And what I'll do now is quickly create a job. We'll call it machine repair. We'll select the type of category that it is. And here we can select the account. So what's happening here is we're pulling the account information from the native Zoho CRM accounts module. So what that means is that any of your account information that lives inside Zoho CRM is automatically inside LogixOne Operator, which makes it very efficient. So if you're using CRM to communicate and store customer information, you can grab that information really quickly. And you can see as we select the account, you'll see the service location is updated here. You can also attach it to a contact if you like, and then it will pull the address for the contact. And then it's up to you to select which address you want or service location you want for this particular job. In this case, I'm going to select account. Now, if you wanted to, you could edit that here as well. Underneath that, we're able to create our job events. So what's a job event? A job event is the time that your job is the job that you're scheduling is going to take place. So this, if you like, is a job card, and here we're creating our job events. Why do we call it job events? Because you can have either one-time or reoccurring job events. So you can create a one-time event, or you can create reoccurring events, just like you would in Zoho Mail or Google Mail. When you might create a weekly call or a weekly maintenance visit, you can do that from within inside LogixOne Operator. We'll just leave that for a one-time now. Here you can select the operator that you want to assign the job to, or you can use our operator lookup tool. You can select the notification method, how you want to communicate information to the actual customer. So you can do it via email, via SMS, or via WhatsApp. And then you can request that the operator ask for a signature at the end of the job. You can put special notes in if you like, and then you're able to choose the service items that you're going to request the field service technician to do. Now, these service items, they come from the native product module that exists inside Zoho CRM. So if you're already using Zoho CRM and products and quotes, that information will already be there. And if you're syncing your products module from CRM to Zoho Books, then you'll be able to sync this as well. All right, so it keeps all the flow happening together. So we'll just select a 1 hour full service clean. We've already got the price in there. We can add additional service items. It doesn't have to be a service item. It could be a product. So you can see here's an example of a 10 kilowatt battery system, okay, for a solar company. But you can select as many service items or products that you want there. If you want, you can upload documents to the job. So it could be instruction manuals, it could be on-site registration forms, anything that you need the field service technician to have on their device, you can upload to here. And then all you need to do is click save. Sorry, we need to add that extra product. And then we'll just click save. We'll just wait for that to save, and then bang, it's saved. We get our success message, we close that. The LogixOne Operator will refresh. And then there's our job that we've just created here, okay? And you can see that there. So just moving on across the top, we've got our job status. So you can see here we've got 27 of total jobs. We've got 2 completed, 1 in progress, and 24 open. So if we want to see the 2 that are just completed, we just need to click that 2 completed. All right, and that will hide all of the other jobs. Now you might say, oh, how come you said there's only 2, but there's 3 showing here? That's because we can do LogixOne Operator enables teams or multiple operators to be scheduled to the single job. So this is actually the same job, it's just split across 2 different operators. All right. Let's just jump back into all jobs and move across. Okay, so we have our different filters. We have our little bell here, which is our notification, and this is showing you what's been happening. You can see here the new job has been created and all of our notifications that are happening there. You can have that many or load more, and you'll notice down on the bottom left when something happens, you'll get a notification up here. All right. You can see the color here, blue, green, purple, and blue here is representing the different statuses of the job. So anything green has been completed, anything blue is still open, and anything purple is in progress. All right. So now if we move down into the calendar section, you can see we can look at it like a color-coded calendar like you would for any other type of calendaring system. You can filter by day. All right, just show the day across the hours. You can show by week. You can show by month. And then you can cycle through the months if you like, or you can just click today. So we'll just jump back into the week. If you want to, you can use the search function to search for any item, any job event. All right. And then we also have job categories here. So you might have remembered in that example before, I selected that job as maintenance. So if I select maintenance, it will only show me the jobs that have a category of maintenance. You don't have to select a category for your jobs, but if you want to, you can do that. And if I just unclick it, it will hide that, and then now you can show all. You can see that when you put your cursor over a job, it will give you the highlight information about each job. And then if you want, you can actually drag and drop jobs. So if I want to take, say, this job here and give it to the operator below, I can do that. I can change between operators. And you'll see down here, we get our little notification, or I can change the date. Basically a drag and drop functionality that we've got here. Okay. In addition, you're able to perform the functions that the operator does inside the app. So within the app, you're at the field service technician is able to check in, check out, update the job, update it with items. You can do that from the back end. So I can take this job and I can click check in, click save to confirm the operator that's checked in, and you can see that status has changed there. So if your operator forgets to do something, you can actually do that from the back end. All right, there's a lot more to it, but we'll just keep moving along. On the left-hand side, we've got our operators here. And so as I said, these are all your field LogixOne operators, your field technicians. Again, you do not need a Zoho CRM license for these. You could create as many of these as you like with LogixOne Operator licenses, but you don't need a Zoho CRM license. So again, you could have one Zoho CRM license and hundreds of LogixOne operators here. So it makes it a very cost-effective solution as well. You can see you've got your operators here. You can create new operators here if you like. I won't go into all that because it'll take too long. You can select the different operators. You can show calendar just for this one operator or for these 2 operators. okay? Or you can clear them all. You can filter by job status, and you can select different teams. So you can actually assign operators to teams if you like. All right, so that's LogixOne Operator. That's the main admin panel. I just want to show you a few other little things. What we can do is, as I said, we can create jobs from here. But let's say you are in a particular contact. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just basically go into the contacts module. Okay, so I can open, for example, this contact here. And then I can click the Create L1 Job button that's here, that also gets installed when you install LogixOne Operator. So I can create that here, and then as you can see, you can create a job for this contact right within inside the contact. You can see that the service location has already been populated, and you can see the contact has as well. You can select an account from here, you can select the category, you can fill out the job event details, select the operator, do the automatic lookup. All of that functionality also exists inside here, and you can do that from within inside a Zoho CRM contact or a Zoho CRM account. All right, so it makes it really easy. If you get your customer calls you open up the contact and they need a job, you can quickly just come here, click the button and start creating them a job. Those jobs will be saved, and then they will obviously show inside LogixOne Operator in the admin panel. All right, so that's basically how you can use LogixOne Operator to create, schedule, allocate jobs directly from within inside Zoho CRM without going to another platform. So let's take a minute now, and then we'll jump into how the technician gets their jobs and how they complete and manage their jobs. Okay, now that we've looked at how jobs are created, allocated, scheduled, moved around, modified, updated from the back end of Zoho CRM, let's now have a look at how your field service operators, or LogixOne operators as we call them, get their jobs and complete them. All right, so LogixOne Operator, as mentioned, can access the app itself, can be downloaded from either the Google Play or Apple App Store. So it can run on either an Android or an iOS device, and it can be downloaded from any of the app stores. And so once the field service operator has downloaded the application onto their phone, they sign in with the login details that you give them from within inside Zoho CRM, and then they're presented with this screen here. And the first screen that they see is their start shift screen. And so from here, they can, at the start of their day, they can click the start shift button. They accept that they're fit and ready for work, click continue, and you'll notice that now this turns into stop shift. And you can see down here on the back end, we can see that that operator has now started their shift. And if we go into the back end and we go to the mapping solution, you can see that that operator has now turned green, signifying that they have logged in. In addition, I'll just bring back the app. In addition, you can see I'm logged in as Peter Test here. You can see that they've got a little green dot and their shift status has turned to started at that time that they click start shift. And so now we can see that they've actually logged in. Okay, you can see all these others have stop shift. Okay, so very quickly you could sort through and say, show me anyone that hasn't started their shift, right? So you can keep an eye on things out in the field. All right, so once the operator has started their shift, they can now select My Jobs. And then this will open up the app to show their My Jobs. Now, if you notice, there's 2 jobs here that have been scheduled for this operator to complete on this day, and then they can cycle through the different days using the calendar at the top. But you'll see this second bottom, the bottom one here, which is machine repair, was the job that I just created before. All right, I created that back in the operator app. And what the operator can do now is they can click that job, open it up and get their details. So at the top, we've got the job name, we've got the customer, we've got the contact, we've got the address, the job event, date, from and time to. All those service details that were requested here are all here. Any notes that we have sent from the back end will be will show here, and also the operator can actually type notes here, and they can do that at any time, right? So for example, you might be using the app to go out and survey a job or prepare for a quote or something like that. Those notes can be entered here at any time. It's also got a follow-up field. So if a job gets completed or at any point the operator wants a follow-up to happen, they can tick that and that will update in the back-end system. So how does the operator finish the job, complete the job? Well, they can, once they open the job, they can navigate to the job by clicking here, and that will open up Google Maps and allow them to navigate to the job. Obviously, you would need the address in here. And then once they get to the job, they click the check-in button. And we'll just give that a few seconds. You'll notice down here in the left that they've checked in. I'll just swap to the calendar view in the back end. Bring this back up. And now I'll move this over to here. And you'll notice now that that job has turned purple, signifying that the job is in progress. All right, so the operator has logged in, started their shift, they've checked into the job, and now what they can do is complete the job. All right, and then once they've completed the service tasks that you've requested of them, they can click the final count. So you've requested from the back end a 1 hour, quantity 1, full service clean. They can just complete the final here. So if it only took them an hour, they could put in 1. But if it took them 1.5, then they could actually enter 1.5. And then we'll just use 1 for the other one. In addition, you can send additional items out to the app by product that the field service technician can add as additional items, okay? And these are controlled from the back end. So you do not have to send every service that you've got out to the app as an additional item. You can be selective about that, okay? So I'm going to select this additional item. I'll put in the quantity here, and then I'll add the item. I can put in notes in here, and then I'll click update, and now we have the additional item. Now, the operator can simply save the job, which means that they're just saving it to the device. It's not being marked as complete, or they can save and complete. If they just save, we'll do that here. All right, the job has been saved. And then when they say, for example, they need to come back to the job or they need to pause the job for whatever reason, they can get back to the job, click check in again, and now they can save and complete the job. So let's say they went back to the job and then they wanted to add, they had to change this to 2, all right, because they did another hour of this service, and then they can save and complete the job. We get a notification saying that at this point, it cannot be undone. This is almost like finalizing the job. We'll just click continue. We'll give that a few seconds, and now you can see in the bottom left in the back end, the job's been completed. You'll see the job's changed from the purple color to the green, showing that's been completed. Okay, as mentioned, the operator can put in notes in here. All right, and then they can tag it for follow-up. And what that will do is tag the job in the back end that it requires follow-up. And in addition, we ask for the job to be signed by the customer. I'm doing that in my mouse. We can save that note, and then we'll put a name against the signature, and then we'll save that signature. All right. In addition, the field operator can upload attachments either from the device itself, so from the gallery, or they can take a photo and upload that to the job as well. So what I'll do is I'll just take this photo here that's on my phone, we'll upload that. It will compress the image. So if it's bigger than, say, 1 megabyte, it will actually compress it down to 1 meg. So you're not increasing too much storage on your CRM. And so now you can see the job's been completed and it's been marked as completed. The operator can continue to make updates to the operator notes if they like. They can add more attachments and upload more files. All right, so basically that's how the operator app works. So let's just minimize that now, and now let's jump back into the back end. Now the job has been completed by the operator. We can see that here. So we can see that that job has been marked green. Now, if you click that job, you'll see now we can link directly to the CRM job card, or we can link directly to the Zoho CRM invoice that's been created for this job. And so if we click that, all right, you'll notice now that we've opened up a Zoho CRM invoice. And here's where we have all of our completion details. Now, we use the native Zoho CRM invoice module. You do not have to use this as an invoice module. If you want to, you can. You could use this to send to the customer by using Zoho CRM templates. You can see that it includes all of the completed information. It's got the services that were used, so you can see the different hours that were selected, as well as the additional item and the notes that were saved with that additional item. You can see who the operator was that finished the job. You can see the customer signature. You can see where the job was completed. You can see the customer signature name. You can see the check-in time. You can see the total time to complete the job. You can see that it requires follow-up, as well as any notes from the operator. All right. So what we've done is basically created the job inside LogixOne Operator, scheduled it to a particular operator. The operator has got the job from their operator app. They've then gone out and completed the job. The job has then been marked as complete inside the calendar. And now we've created a Zoho CRM invoice for it. Sorry, one thing I forgot to add is here's the attachments of any of the photos that were taken and uploaded from the application itself. All right. Now, if you are running Zoho Books, in addition, what you can use is our sync to finance button, this button here. And if you click that, it will create a copy of this invoice inside Zoho Books. All right, so you can go full cycle from creating the job inside Zoho CRM, allocating it to the operator, getting the completed job card or the completed invoice, and then syncing it to Zoho Finance. So now that it exists inside Zoho Finance as an invoice sent to the customer. Okay, so that's very quickly how LogixOne Operator for Zoho CRM works. There is a lot more to this product. It has a lot more features. We haven't even spoken about reporting, how you can customize the system. Because we're using Zoho CRM, there's a lot of ways that we can customize the system. We can integrate our LogixOne chat tool to automatically send the customer a WhatsApp or an SMS message based on different triggers inside the job. So for example, when the job is created, we can send them a an SMS message, when the job is scheduled, if there's any modifications, we can automatically do that. And then we can track messages to and from the customer with inside Zoho CRM itself. We can also do quoting. We have a quote tool, and then we have a template tool as well that you can use to send your customers PDF reports on the jobs that you've completed, but that's for a full demonstration. So the idea of this demonstration is to try and be as quickly as possible to give you a bit of an overview of how LogixOne Operator for Zoho CRM works. As I mentioned, you can install LogixOne Operator for free from the Zoho Marketplace and give it a trial for 7 days. If you get stuck at any point and you need help, you need a little bit of guidance, we've also got our help and desk help articles here that you can ask. There's some how-to videos here that you can use, but we are more than happy to jump on a call with you and give you a free run through, check that your system's set up properly, give you a bit of a demo, talk you through how you might use it in your business to get you started as quickly as possible. So with that, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help. Take advantage of the trial and let us know how you go with LogixOne Operator.